Well, a national campaign to fight hunger is back, and it's helping support local families here at home.
Yeah, the Fight Hunger Spark a Change is underway at Walmart and Sam's Club. Let's check in with 5 News reporter Claire Everbach with more. Good morning, Claire.
Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Tiffany. Well, the national campaign partners with Feeding America to help people facing food insecurity across the country and right here in our area and providing meals. They're partnering with local food banks like the River Valley Food Bank behind me and the Northwest Arkansas Food Bank. If you've been to your local Sam's or Walmart recently, you've probably noticed a few options at checkout, including donation or rounding up to the nearest dollar. You can also participate by buying brand items like Hershey's and Heinz, where each purchase helps provide at least 1 meal at Walmart and up to 5 meals at Sam's Club. All donations stay local, meaning the money raised in your community goes to support that nearby food bank. You can donate $1, $2, or $5 or any other amount, and at self-checkout, you can just tap Finish and Pay and follow the prompt. Organizers say that every amount makes a difference and that more people face food insecurity than we often realize.
Hunger, like I said, is invisible, and it's one of those things that's wide-reaching. It does not care if you're rich, poor, this race, this other race, your religious preference. It takes no prisoners. It's one of those things where it is brutal, and it's all over the community and all over the nation.
This is the 13th year of the campaign. It started a few weeks ago, and it runs all the way through May 3rd at Walmart and Sam's Club. Live in Fort Smith, covering news where you live, Claire Everbach, 5 News.
In other news, the Siloam Springs Planning Commission has denied a preliminary plat permit for a proposed subdivision. Cloudview Estates would be a single-family development of over 300 homes. At a public meeting over the weekend, some residents said that they're worried about safety and questioning why the site near the airport there was chosen.
We're here to try to make sure that we keep our airport intact, and the aviation community in the future has a great airport for economic development, for safety.
Well, city and staff had recommended the project move forward. The Federal Aviation Administration said it would not be in conflict with the airport's function. We reached out to the developer, haven't heard back yet, but the board of directors will hear an appeal of the commission's decision on May 5th. This morning, state leaders are clarifying what's happening at Baptist Health in Fort Smith after recent department closures raised concerns. State Representative Ryan Rose says the hospital is not closing.
After meeting with leaders last week, he says the ER, ICU, and other core services will remain open. Rose says hospital officials told them the decision to cut some units came down to financial losses.
To stop the bleed, so to speak, certain things had to, according to them, certain things needed to be scaled down, trimmed down, so that it could become more solvent.
Well, Baptist Health says it is not closing, and they are continuing to invest in Fort Smith and Van Buren locations.
An investigation underway after a shooting at Arkansas State University in Jonesboro left 4 people injured over the weekend. The school posting an update saying the shooting happened early Sunday at a gathering at Unity Park on campus. 3 Arkansas State students were among those injured. The university says 1 person was treated at the scene, others taken to the hospital with mostly minor injuries. Right now, no word on a suspect, but state police are asking anyone with tips to give them a call.
Well, the suspect who opened fire outside of this weekend's White House Correspondents' Center is expected to be arraigned today in Washington.
Authorities say the alleged shooter wrote in a so-called manifesto that he was planning to target Trump administration officials. On Saturday, Secret Service whisked President Trump, the First Lady, and other top officials out of the dinner in a ballroom at the Washington Hilton.
I started walking with them. I started walking, and they said, please go down on the floor. So I went down, and First Lady went down also.
The president posted video on social media of the suspect, Cole Allen, sprinting through a Secret Service checkpoint. Investigators say Allen is a California teacher. According to police, the suspect exchanged gunfire with law enforcement, and a Secret Service agent in a bulletproof vest was hit. In other news, President Trump is set to host King Charles and Queen Camilla in Washington this week.
The state visit will mark 250 years since the U.S. declared independence from Britain. Bradley Blackburn has some more.
The House of Windsor is headed to Washington, bringing all the pomp and pageantry of the crown to the White House. The UK's King Charles and Queen Camilla are set to arrive today for a state visit with President Trump. The occasion will mark 250 years since the U.S. overthrew the rule of Charles' relative, King George III. In Washington, British flags are already waving ahead of the visit, alongside the Stars and Stripes. Intense security is expected just days after another assassination attempt on the president.
It's the 250th between our two countries. I'm in a somber background after last night for all of us, but I still hope we'll be able to showcase this moment and make it the celebration that it deserves to be.
This will be the King's first state visit to the U.S. since officially taking the helm as monarch in 2023. The 77-year-old royal, who is battling cancer, is expected to have a private meeting with the president and be honored with a formal White House state dinner. The British monarchy is embattled, with the king recently stripping his younger brother Andrew of his title as prince over connections with convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. President Trump is also at odds with the UK's elected leaders over issues like the Iran war. But this trip is intended to celebrate the long-standing special relationship between the two countries.
Even Donald Trump, I think, loves the royal family. And I think it's going to be a good visit for not only our country, but for the United Kingdom as well.
Last year, the king hosted President Trump for a second historic state visit to the UK, an honor typically given to each president only once. During his first term, President Trump was hosted by Queen Elizabeth II. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Well, President Trump and Britain's Prime Minister are pushing for urgent action to reopen the Strait of Hormuz as tensions with Iran escalate. The two leaders met on Sunday to discuss the U.S. conflict with Iran and the strategic waterway. The Strait of Hormuz remains largely restricted, disrupting global shipping. Britain's Prime Minister says that it must reopen quickly or it could hit the world economy. Iran has warned access will not return to normal, while the U.S. says that its naval response has blocked dozens of ships.